Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Clarity in the Chaos, formerly known as Keto in the Chaos, where I like to share my ups and downs on this battle between me and lifetime obesity. So if you're here for the ups and downs, both physical and mental, and that sounds good to you, don't forget to like and subscribe on your way in for more videos like this one to inspire you to get started.
Let's be in the present. I don't want to sweat it. I just want to start all over. Just want to start all over. All over.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I am so excited that you stopped to check in on me on my 1 month on Terzepatide update. I can't even believe it's already been a month. When I first began this journey, I didn't think I was going to survive the first 4 weeks. The very first week was so incredibly difficult for reasons that are not the typical reasons, not the reasons I was expecting, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it to this point. But here we are. I am so excited that we made it this far, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing all of the data from this week's check-in and this month, so that you guys can see how things went for me on compounded Terzepatide. I am getting my compounded Terzepatide through Brello Health, and I have an affiliate link in the About section if you are thinking about trying this. It is the least expensive that I could find that actually goes through a legit pharmacy and has a telehealth screening process that makes it really easy for most people to be able to get their hands on this awesome miracle. They do not ship to every single state. They don't have a license to ship to every state, so be sure to check to make sure that your state is on the list on the website before you place your order, and keep in mind that they are very, very busy. They have an order quota every day. They open at 6 a.m. and they close as soon as they've met their order quota that they can fulfill reasonably, and they also have a 2.5 week shipping time. So keep that in mind as you're going into this. You know, that whole adage, you get what you pay for. Some of the things that you sacrifice by being able to get a really great medication for a really low price is things like that customer service, getting back to you, keeping you on updates, and of course the shipping times. So keep that in mind if you're going to click the link. Thank you so much for all of you who have. It helps me out so much. It's going to help me be able to keep this channel running and to be able to keep me on the medication, which I desperately need, and I'm so grateful for all of your support. And that being said, I have all the data ready to share with you, so let's just get into it. So at the beginning of this week, I decided to stay on the same dose that I was on previously. So I am not following any kind of pre-scripted dosage plan. So for example, with the Eli Lilly Zepbound, you would start with 2.5 milligrams and you would take 4 doses of that for 4 weeks, and then you would move up to 5 milligram if you're following their regular scheduled titration schedule. I know most people don't do that anymore, but in the beginning, that's pretty much what everybody did. 2.5 and then 5 and then 7.5 and so on. With Brello Health, their medication is slightly differently mixed. So they are using more medication in less fluid. So if you'll see, my injections are teensy tiny, and some of the Eli Lilly ones are a lot bigger, and some of the different compounding pharmacies are a lot bigger, and it just depends on how much water they mix the medication into. And because I have access to the actual vial and the injection needle, I can choose how much medication that I'm taking each time. So with Brello Health, they recommend taking 2.2 milligrams, and then in 4 weeks taking 4.4 milligrams for 4 more doses, and then 6.6 and so on. And at the very beginning, I decided that 2.2 was not going to work for me, and I decided on my own to raise up my dose. So the second week, I went up to 2.64, which is just slightly above the Eli Lilly's 2.5 milligram recommendation. That still wasn't quite doing it for me, and so the following week, I raised it up yet again. I meant to go to 2.86, and because these lines on here are very, very tiny and I miscalculated, I ended up doing 3.1. And so this week, I was on my second dose of 3.1 milligrams, or 3.08 if you want to get technical. So that's where I'm currently at this week. Week 3 was an amazing week. I felt so good. Week 4 has been somewhat of a struggle. Some side effects that I've had for week 4, I had a little bit of nausea, not as much as with week 3. And when we're talking nausea, we're just talking like a little bit of an unsettled stomach. Not anything like intense, not like pregnancy nausea. I mean, like, I have not been nauseated like people say that you get nauseated. I haven't even felt like I wanted to like be sick or anything like that, like at all. So I really haven't had a lot of side effects, which makes me feel like the medication is probably going to take, I'm probably going to have to go up in dose before the medication really gets kicking in my system. I had a little bit of fatigue, but it's my normal. I mean, I used to be fatigued in the afternoons before I started taking Tirzepatide. So I don't think that really has anything to do with it, to be honest. And if it does, well, it's the same thing that I always have. And it seems to be about two hours after a meal, which I've checked my blood sugar. I have a ketone and blood sugar monitor, and I checked those, and it's always 109, 110 every time 2 hours after eating. So I don't think it's low blood sugar or high blood sugar or anything like that. I don't know. I just get really tired 2 hours after I eat my midday meal. It's super weird. I didn't need to use any extra like constipation relievers this week, like Marilax or Senna or anything like that. I did focus more on my fiber, though I don't know that I did it perfectly, and my water, and things seem to have worked themselves out that way. I haven't struggled with anything like that this week at all either. I did feel a lot more hunger cues this week, which is fine because the hunger cues are muted. So they aren't the kind of hunger cues that I'm used to having pre-Terzepatide or pre-Keto even, where I go from I'm not hungry at all to I'm a raging hungry like psychopath, right? And I can't even think because my brain is literally on fire. That's not happening, but I am getting hungry more often, which is slightly annoying because I'm trying to keep my calories low and I don't want to eat. I'm eating what I'm telling myself to eat, and I don't want to have to eat between meals and raise up my calories, which is annoying, and that's been not super fun to deal with. Also, I've generally felt more agitated this week. I've had a lot more moments of anxiety. I've had a lot more moments of just feeling off, not as relaxed and comfortable and nice as I did on week 3. So that was a bummer. I'm still feeling more relaxed than I normally do, but not as nicely therapeutic as week 3, which for me is a big deal because that's how I survive. I mean, that's the whole point of doing this for me now that I know it does that. Like, I want it back. So that was kind of frustrating. And also my satiety is just not there anymore. So like part of what the GLP part of the medicine does, it stimulates leptin, which is the I'm full hormone that helps you feel satisfied after eating. And it mutes ghrelin, which is that nasty monster that eats my brain alive, right? The one that tells you that you're really hungry. I am struggling like after I eat my meals that are reasonable size, they have protein, they have good things in them. I still want to eat more. I'm still wanting to like just have a protein shake with every meal or have a Built bar with every meal just to get a little bit more protein and just a little bit more satiety in the situation. And I don't want to do that. Like I said, I'm trying really hard to keep my calories at a certain level. And so I don't really want to add those extra things, even though I am wanting to for satiety purposes. For example, I ate about 2 hours ago and I'm already hungry. Like I feel an actual hunger signal in my system right now. And it's making me want to turn around and grab one of these lemon meringue Built bars behind me and eat it. But I don't want to because I don't know what I'm having for dinner yet, and I don't really know if this is going to fit in my macros. And if I eat this, then my dinner might have to be smaller because I ate this. So as much as I love these, I don't know if I'm going to eat it or not. I'm just saying that I am wanting it right now. But despite all of that, it was still a good week. I was able to keep my calorie deficit without too much suffering, and it wasn't like the end of the world that some of those signals came back. I was just kind of disappointed because I know a lot of people talk about trying to stay on the lowest doses you can for as long as possible. And apparently it's like a weakness now or some kind of like sign that you aren't doing it right if you decide to titrate up. And that makes me really stressed out. Like I'm kind of wondering what it would have been like to be able to do it back in 2021 and have the just prescribed amounts that you have to do each time without anybody saying anything because nobody knew anything about it. And of course, then there's the general fear that if you raise up your dose, you might get to 15 too soon, and then you will not have anywhere to go. Which, I mean, it's a reasonable fear, but also I really don't have as much weight to lose as I did with keto because I haven't put all the weight back on. I really only put 90 pounds back on. I probably like to lose 100 pounds. I don't know if I'll go any further than that. And so, like, I don't foresee me hitting that cap and not working, because even people who are on the 15 say it still works. So I'm not stressing about that. So this is my precursor to, I'm probably going to raise my dose this week on week 5. I'm supposed to, per my doctor's instructions, go to 4.4 milligrams. I have not yet decided if I'm jumping all the way from 3.1 to 4.4, or if I'm gonna like split the difference and do half of it this week and then half of it next week and then try and stay on it for 2 weeks. I haven't got there in my brain yet. I'm still debating. So we will see. You'll have to wait and see in next week's video to find out what I ended up deciding. I know that I'm still on a loading dose. I'm still on a starter dose, and I'm not to where most people lose weight. And I don't want to use just losing weight as the barometer, because I am the queen of losing weight. I know how to do it. I can do it and suffer. But the whole point of taking the GLP-1 is so that you can do it and not suffer. So that you can do it and have the tools to help you, not so that you can have half a tool and you just like suffer through because you want to look good and stay on the lowest dose as long as you can. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's my precursor. Okay, let's get into the data. That was all my symptoms for the week. My calories for the week. I will read them out quickly and then I'll tell you my averages. 1434, 1638, 1500, 1690, 1699, 1499, and 1328 for an average of 1541. Compared to last week, that is 22 lower. And the week before that was 1806, so a lot lower than that. And the very first week I was 1533, so slightly higher than the first week. I think that gives me an average of about 1600 calories for the entire 4 weeks, even if you add in the average for week 2. So I think that's pretty great. Depending on the TDEE calculator that you use, I'm somewhere in between 2,200 calories and 2,500 calories, depending on my activity level and my body shape and size and age and all of that, and height. That's my TDEE calories, and really you're only supposed to eat 500 less than that, and so I'm really eating like at least 700 less to maybe 900 less. 1,000 less. So that's a pretty good deficit depending on the calculator. I mean, we don't know how accurate those things are. And my metabolism is not damaged, as we learned when I was doing all of the weird testing with the DEXA scan and the breathy tube thing. My metabolism was not damaged because I really have only dieted 3 times in my life. So this is like, is this the 3rd time? No, this is the fourth time, I guess, that I've been on a diet. And all of those have been since I was 34 and up. So I didn't diet at all in younger years, and I really have only done it a few times, and each time I've done it, I've lost a significant amount of weight and gained a significant back. And we don't want that to happen this time. So I do want to go low and slow like everybody recommends, but also I know how to do this. So it's like, let's get this show on the road. You know what I'm saying? So that was my calories for the week. My protein levels averaged out to 143, which is slightly low. I should be hitting 154 because I like to do 10% of my calories in grams of protein. That's like my ideal body weight. Like if I ever really got down to where I really like to be, 154 would be it. So that's like 150 grams of protein I do strive for, but I don't always hit it. I had one day this week that I literally hit 103, and I think that's the lowest protein I've had that I've tracked in like since I began keto. So I'm sure I hit lower than that when I was just eating whatever, but not tracking. But that was pretty low. That was yesterday actually. Maybe that's why I'm so hungry today. I don't know. So 143 is not bad. I'll take it. My carbs averaged out to 111, which is a nice low carb range, which is exactly what I'm shooting for. So that's super great. My fats were very low, which is great, 48, because I am going for a low calorie diet, and that's why my fats were low. The fats and carbs balance each other out in the energy section, and I'm happy about that. My fibers average out to 27, which was pretty good. I don't know if it was higher than last week. Let's look, because, I'm curious. Oh, it's 3 grams higher than last week per day. So maybe that was why I didn't have issues with constipation. Personally, I think it's because the meds weren't quite as strong and I just didn't have as much side effects. But I mean, who knows? I don't know everything about this medication. Like, I have hyperfixated. I've watched every video I can possibly watch. I've been TikToking like a TikTok fiend. And speaking of which, like, you guys should join me over there if you're on TikTok. I need some more girly friends and I need some people to watch me when I go live so I don't look like an idiot. If I went out live on here, I'd have like 100 people come on and just like chat with me, which is super great. But I want to build that community on TikTok too, and I like have like 3 people in the room, and it's like, crickets, ask me some questions before I embarrass myself with stories you do not want to know. Anyway, plug for TikTok. Probably shouldn't say TikTok on YouTube. You're not supposed to say YouTube on TikTok. It's such a whatever. I don't even know anymore. Last week I didn't do my measurements. I did do them this week. I'm not going to give you all the rundown of all the measurements just yet, but I will tell you that I lost 2.5 inches through my whole body. So there's that. And that was over the last 2 weeks. So not drastic. Let's go over the weigh-ins for the week, because that's why you're all here. I'm sorry I always make you wait too long. I try really hard to talk fast, and I've still talked for like 15 minutes already. Here we go. 254.2, 253.8, 253.1, 255.3, 253.8, 252.9, and 253.1 for an average of 253.7, which is down 0.6 on the average from last week. If we want to go to weigh-in day to weigh-in day, which was last Tuesday today, that was only down 0.2 pounds. But still, let's throw in a yay! Because, as Glow would say, Gloria Garner, we need to celebrate every win, and a loss is a loss, even if it's small. So here we are. We did not gain, basically maintained, and I will tell you why that is a freaking miracle, because my entire weight loss journey, I literally always would put on water weight during my ovulatory part of my cycle, and it didn't happen. I had that little bump to 255, and I thought, oh, here it comes, and then it dropped back down, and I actually saw a 252.9 on the scale yesterday, so that was awesome. Was I slightly disappointed when it wasn't a 252 number this morning? A little bit, but that's why we do the average weigh-in, so that we don't stress about the number every day on the scale, because otherwise on the 255 day I would have freaked out and I would have said, this is stupid, so I'm not going anywhere, and I would have given up. But I didn't. I just kept going and I was fine. Like, it was just a number. It's just data. It doesn't really matter in the long run. While I would, of course, love to be 90 pounds lighter really, really fast, because it feels like it was really, really fast that I put it on, I know from experience that it doesn't matter how little calories you eat, it still takes a crap ton of time to lose weight. So I'm eating a reasonable amount of calories. I'm not even eating as few calories as I was when I did keto. If you guys remember back to when I was doing keto, my original macros for keto was 128 grams of protein, 50 to 78 grams of fat, and less than 20 net carbs, which was about 1,288 calories only. And that's what I ate for like 18 months. So I'm not doing that. And that's probably why I lost the 100 pounds in 8 months when I first started keto. But I was desperate to be out of that giant trap that I was trapped in. And now I'm like, my mind has been freed. I've lived in a smaller body. I feel like a smaller person. I have a lot more patience. I have a lot more experience under my belt. I know what I'm doing this time around. I know what I want to do, what I don't want to do. And so far, I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do, and I'm happy with that. So, whole month in review, the whole 4 weeks. Over the whole 4 weeks, I have now, on average, lost 10.7 pounds in 4 weeks. And from first day to last day, which was today, I've lost 11.3. So the difference there is really only half a pound. And do you see how it's much more stable as it goes down? Because what if I did, because I'm ovulating, put on 6 pounds today? Like, would I have freaked out and given up if that was the only weight information that I had? Yes, probably. So that's the reason I do the average weights, and it just makes more sense to my brain to do it this way. Let's go measurements. I was going to pull out my phone and go over how much I've lost on each thing, and I do, embarrassingly, have a 360 body view for you to see in this video of my 4-week update, and I am literally horrified. I do not want to share it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of mortified that I've gotten so big, and it's like hard for me to show. So be kind, please, because part of me really just wants to skip that until I've lost it all and then just use it as a before and after. But also, I know it's helpful to see like how much 10.5 pounds looks like, right? On a body. And it's probably interesting for those of you who know that I had all of my loose skin removed and I had a tummy tuck and I had all of that, surgery, like what my body looks like now that I've regained. It's probably interesting, and I'd hate to make you wait until the very, very end to find out what I look like. So I am going to put that in this video at the end. So if you've made it this far and listened to me ramble, you get the gift of being able to see me in all my glory. I still don't want to do it. Oh, that just reminds me that I didn't do the one by the pool that I usually do, that I need for the next video. Oh, for heaven's sake. I guess there won't be a 360 by the pool in my vlog tomorrow. I just now realized that. Oh well, 'tis what it is. Okay, so here we go. In 4 weeks, my bust has gone from 48 inches to 46.5, which is a 1.5 inch loss. My left bicep went from 14.5 to 14, which is a half an inch loss. My right bicep went from 15 to 14.5, which is a half an inch lost. My rib cage went from 37.5 to 37, which is a half an inch lost. My waist went from 43 to 41.5, which is a 1.5 inch loss. My lower belly or upper hips went from 47.5 to 45, which is 2.5 inches lost. My widest part of my booty went from 50.5 to 49, which is 1.5 inches lost. My left thigh went from 23.5 to 23, which is a half an inch lost. My right thigh went from 24.75 to 24, which is 0.75 inches lost. My left knee, someone did ask me, why do you measure your knees? And that's because I have lipedema, and I am trying to track to see if my legs are getting bigger, of whether or not more lipedema fat is depositing in my legs, because I don't want that. And my knees is where my cuff is. So some people that have lipedema have a cuff at the ankle. Mine is at the knee. So if you ever see my full leg in any of the videos, which you will see, you won't see my calves in the video, but you will see the knee right under the cuff, and you can see the drastic difference of why I measure that. That's just like my determining factor of whether or not I'm retaining water, and also whether or not I'm putting on more lipedema fat. I don't anticipate losing a heck of a lot of fat out of there, because a lot of it is untouchable by diet and exercise. Inflammation really release and water release is the only thing that's going to probably decrease that. We will see. I mean, here, hope upon hope, right? Like, we will see, but from experience, I'm guessing they won't shrink too much. Okay, my knees. All that to say, my left knee, I went from 20 to 20. 0. But I didn't gain, so that's good. My right knee, I went from 20.75 to 20.25, which is a half an inch loss. My left calf went from 15.5 to 15.25, which is a quarter of an inch loss. And my right calf went from 15.5 to 15.25, which is a quarter of an inch. There's a lot of inches. A quarter of an inch loss. For total inches lost of 10.75 inches for 4 weeks. So basically, it's going exactly how it did with keto. However many pounds I'm losing is almost exactly how much inches I'm losing. Isn't that wild? So 10.7 pounds and 10.75 inches. It's almost identical. Wild. So I'm happy about those results. And I'm glad that you guys came to check in on me. It has been a great first month. I'm looking forward to month 2. I'm going to be upping my dose. You'll have to come back next week to find out what I decided to do on that. And I'm excited because I'm feeling excited again. I'm feeling younger, more motivated. Like, for the last few years, I've literally felt deflated and like I didn't have a purpose. And all of a sudden, I have a goal again. I have something to fight for. I'm fighting this battle again and freaking gonna win it this time. If you're in it with me, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any videos that I put up. Sometimes I even put funny ones up in the shorts. So take a look over there and make sure you didn't miss anything fun. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you all again soon.
Hop in my getaway car, let's go just for the night. Nowhere is ever too far, baby, all we got is time. A small town, run down, so let's run away from here. From the ghost to the coast, where everything is clear. Follow me from the past into the future. We don't need any bags or any pastors. Let's be in the present, I don't wanna sweat it. I just wanna start all over. Just wanna start all over. All over. We don't need the memories, just need to wipe the slate clean. Go from chaos to the peace, I need to focus on me.